Hi everybody, it's Alisa Murray here, hanging out with my priest, Father Andrew. We're having another wonderful Martini Talk. I look forward to having you guys today be a part of our conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to being with you.
Yeah, well, I always enjoy our time together. And,
likewise.
I really will be so glad when we get back to our usual stuff. And we're almost there.
We're so close. I keep saying that light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter and brighter. And, we've released new guidelines, and I just shared them with the parish this week, and we're looking forward to, we're in phase 2 and looking forward to phase 3 where we can lift distancing requirements. We're not quite there yet, but the fact that the bishop is starting to talk and the church is starting to talk about that, it's like, that's much further than we were even 3 months ago.
Exactly.
So, that light is just getting brighter and brighter, and, we're bringing back different things at the church, and that's given us life, and people are starting to come out and do, participate in little ministries here or there, and thinking of new ways we can do ministry, in this place that we're at. And it's really, people are getting passionate again about coming out and serving God. And we just celebrated Easter, and it felt like, wow, resurrection. We're here, we are celebrating the resurrection. We're outside with 120 people for people who haven't been here in over a year. It's like, here's resurrection happening. So, it's in the season of resurrection. It's not lost on me that resurrection is happening.
It's the first Sunday in a long time that. Well, it's 2 Sundays because it was last year too. Mm-hmm. And I get up. and I haven't been to church with you yet. I've been to church with you on virtual.
Online.
But I'm one of the biggest dressers in the whole church. Like I go in all out. I like have birds and feathers and all kind. I come out looking like, and I'm sure Lionel is missing that. He and I are in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Every time I go to church, it's an absolute entrance. I'll be there with my Easter dress and all my stuff, because I was raised in the South, and you dress up for church, and I'm not wearing any blue jeans at church and all that. So I make everybody in the family come dressed.
Yeah.
And I really miss that, because that was the one time, I've been shooting babies in the studio, not wearing any makeup. The YouTube channel, thankfully, it forces me to actually get up and get dressed properly.
Yeah.
But church was really my once a week time to really go dig in that closet and figure out, what am I going to wear this week? And get fancy. And so I've missed that. But
it's kind of funny because, I don't get to dress up. Of course, it's
I
wear my same thing, or even wearing this shirt. But before we were gathering in person. Even when it's even before I came to St. Catherine's, it was just me in the church, and so I'd have shorts on, and then throw my alb on, and nobody saw that I was wearing shorts and flip-flops.
Right.
But on camera, it looked like okay. But then we started gathering back, and got here, and we started gathering back. It's like, well, now I got to wear my slacks and my nice shoes again. It's like, oh, this feels right again.
Yeah, it feels funky
right.
to be in pajamas and be having breakfast and watching you on church on TV, but on the laptop. But it's okay. The fact is that the people that want to serve and are called to serve anyway.
Yeah.
In whatever the capacity is, And I thought about the other. Well, maybe it was Easter Sunday, or maybe it was the Sunday before that. It was Good Friday, actually. I had on the show Dr. Michael Chung, who wrote The Last 10 Days of Jesus.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's got a PhD in the book of Paul. And he's just a really interesting character. But he talked about what Jesus was doing that last days of before the resurrection. And he was just hanging out.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out with his friends and people that he knew. And, he knew what was going to happen, but he just was hanging out. Yeah. And he wasn't freaking out. He was just hanging out. Yeah. And, he wasn't dressed up. He was just being normal and hanging out with people that were normal.
Yep.
And so part of that, I think, too, is a cocooning effect. We get to come together after we've had a chance to really think about and become closer to God.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are at church, that will be back at church once we do get phase 3 in place, are just going to be jumping through the aisles.
Oh, my goodness.
Because we're so happy to be back in the house of the Lord. It's crazy.
They're going to be back and be back amongst their brothers and sisters in Christ.
Yeah.
And, we had somebody who came back this past week, the week after Easter. They couldn't come on Easter because they're out of town, and they messaged me like, we're coming back. And so they got their vaccines. They're fully vaccinated, so they were coming back. And he was taking pictures of the husband was taking pictures before the service of the church, and then afterwards outside. We try to go outside, and we can't do the same gathering that St. Catherine's used to do. So we will one day soon, but right now we can't. So we go outside, and then outside we talk, and he's out there taking pictures of all the people, because he's just, again, I'm back. I see these people.
Starved of that.
Yes.
And it's so crazy too, because whenever when your children came yesterday to be photographed, I wanted to just pick them up and squeeze them, and they're in masks and they're like standing away. But when we got done with the shoot, they came in the house and we got lollipops like everybody does, and it was a little bit normal. But the usual is honestly piling out of the cars and running into my arms and big hugs and kisses and all of that. So I'll just be glad when all of that's back to normal again, because I'm used to taking little fingers and walking them to the garden and picking stuff in the garden, and it's just different.
It is. And you talk about, one of my practices, and I did this at Trinity when I served at Trinity, is all the kids in this church, I give 5s. And it's taking everything in me. Now we're getting kids back in the church. And it's taking everything in me to not give them 5s, because, we're not there. But, I'm a hugger. I love to, I give 5s to the high fives to the kids. Sometimes adults want to give me a high five too.
It's hard.
And it's, once I'm so longing for that
normal,
and it's something as simple as just giving a high five.
I know,
shaking somebody's hand after church, and it's I know once we get that, once I walk down the aisle and give these kids high fives, I'm probably gonna be tearing up and just we're back.
It's just great. Well, what I wanted to talk to you about today, and it's been something we've talked about a lot for the people that are watching me, is about giving back our gifts. And we talk a little bit about that often here on Martini Talks, because people are starting to move from their lives that they had as corporate into their passion, which is their entrepreneurship. And many of those have been forcibly moved into that. Luckily, that's one of the wonderful things that's come out of COVID, is that people were put in a position where they had time to stop and think. And they had time to not have a job anymore. And they realized, what am I going to do next? And so that really put them in a different position to be pivoted. And for me, the channel is where I'm all in. I'm all in at the channel. I want to just give and give and give and share, and hope that people will, if they don't know how to cook a collard, they'll understand how to do that. Or if they understand a little bit about entrepreneurship and they maybe think they want to start a business, be inspired to start something. And soon the courses will be around for people to do that with me too, which is cool. But you spoke on a service probably 2 weeks before Easter. I think it was right around that time, on sharing our gifts. And I wanted you to share a little bit about that for the channel, because a lot of the people that watch me are obviously not necessarily watching us watch you. And so a little bit about that, and then just wanted to share with you, because it's just so important to me to have people understand that is the Holy Spirit. And it's the same thing we teach our children. Like when we teach our children right from wrong, and then we send them away to school, whether it be primary school or college, or even as adults when we're no longer here to parent or help or whatever with them. When they hear those voices, that's what that is. And if it's not that, then it's maybe Satan, and then that's a whole other conversation, and that we don't want to go down that path, because that's not living your sweet life at all, and that's not part of what our thing is. But I really realized that the whispers in the garden, the confirmation in the dreams, the things that people say that had no idea where we were with what we were thinking, but then what they say resonates so clearly. Like James Edward had his singer challenge with a teacher this week, and he shared with him, his challenge to James Edward is to find his gifts, and that just was like the nail in the coffin, that what I've been thinking about and having all this, not angst is the wrong word, but just contemplation and prayer. What's the next thing to do? That helping young people learn how to become entrepreneurs, find their gifts, and give back to the community, and live their lives like Jesus. And that's really what it is. And so I wanted to dump that to you, and then have you kind of reflect that back to me, kind of what you had preached. And, and then just share that with you, because it's really a lot. It's deep stuff, deep thoughts with Auntie A. Deep thoughts with Auntie A today. No, but it's just, you find people in the community that get it and know what they're doing almost automatically. And then you find people that really struggle.
Yeah.
And they don't really understand what those gifts are. And they have a hard time kind of deciphering where that is, or what it is. Like, they don't realize that it's the smallest thing. It doesn't even have to be this great big thing. You don't have to be like Elon Musk.
No.
You can share and give back in the smallest of ways.
Yeah. And, I'm trying to remember that sermon.
I didn't mean to put you on
Oh, no problem. No, I'm
spot.
trying to remember the context of the sermon. But, if I remember correctly, we all have something that God gives us that we can use. And, like you said, it could be it could be something that's big and we just know it immediately. Like the cooking, the teaching people to cook and garden, that that's inside you, and wow, I could, and you recognize quickly when you're trying to figure out, okay, what can I offer? Oh, here it is. But sometimes it's not that clear, and we have to really reach down and explore what that is. And, that takes discernment. That takes listening to the Holy Spirit, listening to God's guidance and helping us find that gift. And it's important, once we find that gift, recognize that God led us there to a reason. God gave us this little part of ourselves for a purpose, and that's to use it, to give back, to allow it to flow out to the world, no telling how many people have been impacted by your sharing your knowledge about, not just photography, but gardening, about, these stuff that gives you passion, and you share that and allowed others to share in your passion. When, too often we hear God telling us something, it's like, no, I don't believe that. That's not what God's calling me to do.
Right.
And we sometimes get in the way of God's call in our lives and God's gifts. And when that happens, we don't allow it to flow down to the next person. We hold it into ourselves when it really should be flowing. It's like a stream.
Yeah.
It's like a stream. If you block a stream, the gift of the water doesn't go to the next person. So we grew up on a ranch outside of Cleburne, and the rancher we had a stream going through our property, and the rancher down the stream, he used to fill our property. We had a pond that would fill. One day he dammed it up to fill up his pond. And what resulted was we weren't getting the gift of water. And when we hold our gifts that God gives us the same way, others are affected. It's not just us. Others are affected that they're not receiving the gifts flowing down. So I'm trying. I don't remember if that's
exactly it. And the other thing that is so important, going along with what you're saying too, is that we don't know who we're supposed to be touching.
Exactly.
God knows.
Exactly.
We know only the gifts that we've got, and we only know that because He's revealed that to us, and we have a responsibility. Yeah. Which is the key. There's a responsibility which needs to be seriously looked at to figure out what that is and know to share that. Yep. Because you don't know who. I mean, you don't have a clue who. And if you believe like I believe, and I know you do because we're in the same whatever, duh. Every single person who comes into your life has been put in your life for a reason. Yeah. And it may be to teach you a lesson, and it may be for you to teach them a lesson. It may be a lifelong friend. It may be a friend for a season. You don't know. You don't know. But it is your responsibility to share and to do what you can to help, like Jesus would. Yeah. And it's literally that pure, that simple. It doesn't take a lot of, it's not an encyclopedia book full of knowledge that you have to go through to figure it out. It's just easy. Yeah. How to be human and what God wants us to do. And the thing that's also important to know is that we don't know. Like, we don't know what our path looks like. But the reality is that God has already said it. Yeah. So when I look at me today, I think to myself, oh my goodness, I've had 22 years of photographing beautiful children. I've had 17 years of writing a wonderful column. Yeah. I've had many years of gardening, many years of cooking, many years of putting parties together for my tribe. Yeah. And when all of those things got jumbled up, what came out of it was this channel, right? But the other thing is the continuous flow of growth.
Yeah.
And I could not have imagined if you had said to me 15 years ago, oh, you're going to have a YouTube channel, and oh, you're going to create courses, and oh, you're going to teach people how to become entrepreneurs, and oh, you're going to da-da-da-da. No, because I wasn't ready for that yet.
Yeah.
God needed me to do this and this to get me ready for that and that. And this season of COVID has been an opportunity to figure out the next.
Yes.
And then every single month, year, it's just like a different thing. There's a bigger vision. Obviously, I've got a bigger vision, which is the other thing. God doesn't give you the vision unless he's given you the tools to get it.
Yep.
So that's the key. Is like if you've got your gifts figured out, or even if you don't, think about all the things that you're doing that you love that you would do for free.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but if I did not have to go to seminary, I probably would get up, put on some cool robes, and start preaching to butterflies out in the garden, in the morning, because I'm just that spirit filled. I don't want to do your job, but you know what I mean? Like, I could see myself in a role similar to your role, and in many ways I am. Yeah. Because of how I communicate with people and the people who come to see me and whatnot. But it's the vision of a grander vision. It doesn't have to be huge, but like we have a vision together collectively that we would like to see for St. Catherine's.
Yes.
I don't believe that God's put that in my heart or my mind that it wouldn't happen. Yeah. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. And when.
And us taking the initiative to live out God's vision for us. And again, you said something about, the tools he gives us. And, too often we get this vision. It's like, well, how are we going to get there? God gives us what we need to. He gives us, again, back to our gifts. He puts the people in place. He gives us what we need to carry out that vision. We just need to trust in that process.
Pay attention.
Yes, pay attention.
Because that's the other thing. I mean, like with me, all these years of writing, what happens is that I'll start thinking about something that I want to say to the community, and then I'll watch a show, or I'll hear someone say something, or someone will come visit me, or like the other day when we were having the thing at school, it was like, oh yeah, okay, now because I had no way of knowing that this professor was going to say that to James about his gifts, but and then 2 days before that, and 6 months ago before that, and all these things, then it's almost like a constellation. It just, everything goes dink, and then you go, oh, and you have your aha moment. It's like, that's God saying, that's God saying,
it's affirming.
Yeah, and that's what I wait for, because not only I don't wait for it, but it just happens, and then but I am aware of it, so that when it does happen, I'm not like, oh, it just went over my head and something flew off my wig somewhere. Yeah. I actually go, oh, okay, now, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Yep. I feel like this is now confirmed. Now I know I'm okay. Now I need to move forward. Yeah. Not that I'm stopped, but you know what I mean. Yeah. There's definitely a need for me, at least, to have a little, and I know that he knows that. Yeah. He knows that I have to have that. I mean, that's the straight A kid in me. That's the one that's not going to jump into the deep water without knowing how to swim. I'm going to I'm okay to do what you need me to do, but you need to make sure I understand clearly. So remind me once more that I'm sure on the right path. And that's what's so cool. Yeah.
It's, I'm kind of the same. I need that affirmation. I need to hear, okay, this isn't just me in my head. This is something that God's called me to do. And, I mentioned, and this may have been the same sermon. I can't quite remember. They all start running together.
Well, for sure.
But I, mentioned about my ordination process, about how I started discerning ordination. I was convinced for years that this is just me in my own head telling me I need to be a priest. And I kept talking about it to Casey, my wife, and she got sick of me talking about, maybe I should be a priest. Nah, I shouldn't. Maybe I should be a priest. No, it's just me. It's my ego. And then finally, we were at a conference, and I said something, and she said, "Just talk to our priest. Enough. Talk. We're in Arlington.
Stop talking to me.
Yeah, stop. I'm tired of hearing about." And I kept waiting for somebody to tell me, "Yes, you're." And I went to my rector at the time, and the first thing she said was, "It's about time you came to talk to me about this." And she saw that, and that was that affirmation that clicks. Like, okay, this is where this is the process I need to be in. And we all need that. We need, to a certain extent, there are some who don't need affirmation. Who are just like, okay, I know for a fact I'm jumping right in.
Well, sure.
But for most of us, we need some sort of affirmation. Like this is the call that you have. These are actual gifts that you have given us that you want us to use. How many times have we said, go out, Lord, show me a sign, show me a sign of this. And sometimes we ignore the signs or we miss the sign, but when we, like you said, stop and focus, we will see God. We'll hear the still small voice of the Holy Spirit. We'll see God's working in a small way that's obvious. Like when somebody gets put in our place or says something to us that,
and it's so obvious. Crazy because it's like I've touched so many people's lives through the years. I've done so much work with cancer and kids with cancer. Gone to India and photographed countless families. And photos are so important because, Mom got killed when I was little. Yeah. And photos to me have always been so important. But this year has just been a real big transformation. Yeah. I mean, like it's bigger than me. Yeah. And I know that what'll happen, people, they don't understand that Brian goes, well, you just stick your finger in the dirt, stick a seed in it and put water on it. I don't understand why they're so excited about the garden because the garden's beautiful and we love the garden, but it's not that hard to make a garden. I said, well, I don't understand it either, honestly, love, because, it's pretty easy for me, but for a lot of people, it just doesn't quite happen that way. Yep. And so I just don't understand why it doesn't. Maybe it's because the soil's not right or something's not done correctly or they forget to water it or don't water too much. Or, I don't know, but, for some reason, I've got this gift to be able to put stuff in the earth and beautiful things come out of it. And it's just a gift that I knew I had a little bit of it, but I didn't know I had a lot of it. And now I've got a lot of it. And now I don't know what to do with it. Now I've got everybody coming over here to get free food because I got more food.
Which is a gift.
Another gift. Yeah. Yeah, it's another gift, but it's just funny that, all that. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you today because, we're back and forth texting and I've photographed the babies and we haven't been able to meet in person and I always enjoy your time with me. And
likewise.
And for them that watch, they need to understand what you preached that day because it was like I was sitting there and I was like, crying at the computer. And then, it was just like, this is right. This is exactly right. This is finding your gifts. You've got to find your gifts. You got to figure out what God's got for you. And you don't know. And what clicked for me was I didn't know that when I was doing the channel that I had been prepared by Him all these years to be able to then do the channel. Yeah. And people are so scared to have a channel. Oh, yeah. They're scared to mic up. They're scared to do what we're doing. Yeah. They think that for some reason people are going to judge them or they're going to say bad things about them. And I know that God has grace over me because I haven't had that, thankfully. People have not said one thing, and don't y'all start either. Because it's just not necessary. No. It's not sweet. No. And it's not part of what we're supposed to be doing. No. Building each other up is what we're supposed to do. And that's living our life like Jesus.
Yep. And loving our neighbors as ourselves. Yep.
But I want to thank you for being here again.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Really good
Yes,
talk.
thank you so much.
Not a martini talk because it's in the middle of the day.
Water's fine.
Water's good.
Next time.
We'll bless the water.
Yes.
Water's good.
Yes.
So anyway, well, listen, guys, I hope that you guys have found some value in our talk again. We're going to be doing many more. We are.
Yep.
Father Andrew is one of my favorite people to talk to, so just plan on seeing him a lot more often.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Yes. And do me a favor, like and share. Don't forget to ring the bell, and we'll see you soon on the next episode of Martini Talks. Take care.
Bye.